November 28, 2016, a date etched in sorrow in the history of sports. But before the tragedy, there was a miracle. This is the story of Associação Chapecoense de Futebol, a small, humble club from the city of Chapecoense, Brazil. Just a few years prior, they were playing in the lower divisions, struggling to keep the lights on. But through grit, passion, and unity, they climbed the ladder of Brazilian football. In 2016, they defied all odds. They defeated giants like San Lorenzo and Independiente. They weren't a team of superstars, they were a family. They had reached the final of the Copa Sudamericana, the second most prestigious tournament in South America. They were on their way to Medellin to play the biggest match of their lives against Atlético Nacional. It was a fairy tale in the making. On that Monday, November 28th, the atmosphere was electric. The team, the coaching staff, and over 20 journalists gathered to travel to Colombia. The excitement was palpable. They were living a dream. Due to aviation regulations, they had to change their original flight plan. They flew commercially to Santa Cruz de la Sierra in Bolivia. There, waiting on the tarmac, was a charter plane operated by LaMia Corporation, an Avro RJ-85, Flight 2933. The mood on board was festive. Videos recovered later would show players laughing, playing cards, and recording messages for their families. They believed they were flying towards glory. No one knew that a series of critical errors had already sealed their fate before the wheels even left the ground. The flight from Santa Cruz to Medellin is a long one for an Avro RJ-85. The distance was approximately 2,975 kilometers. The maximum range of the aircraft was nearly identical to the flight distance. This meant was absolutely no margin for error. No reserve fuel for emergencies. International regulations require planes to carry enough fuel to reach their destination, plus enough to fly to an alternate airport, plus 30 minutes of holding time. LaMia Flight 2933 had none of this. As they approached Medellin, a delay occurred. Another aircraft had declared an emergency due to a fuel leak and was given priority to land. The Chapecoense plane was ordered to enter a holding pattern. They were told to circle in the air, but the tanks were running dry. The pilot, Miguel Quiroga, delayed declaring a formal emergency until it was too late. At 9:58 p.m. local time, the voices in the cockpit grew desperate. "Total electrical failure, without fuel," the pilot radioed to air traffic control. Those were the final words. The engines flamed out. The silence in the cabin must have been terrifying. The aircraft, now a heavy glider in the dark Colombian night, began to fall. It wasn't a nosedive, but a gradual, deadly descent into the Andes Mountains. At approximately 10 p.m., Flight 2933 slammed into the crest of Cerro Gordo, a mountain near La Union. The impact shattered the fuselage. There was no explosion because there was no fuel left to burn. This tragic fact is the only reason anyone survived at all. In the cold, muddy darkness of the mountainside, 71 lives were extinguished in an instant. The dream had turned into a nightmare. Rescue teams faced a daunting task. Heavy rain and thick fog made the crash site nearly inaccessible. Locals and first responders hiked up the muddy mountain, expecting to find only bodies. But then they heard groans. Against all odds, amidst the wreckage of a plane that fell from the sky, there was life. They pulled 6 people from the debris, 3 players, Alan Rushell, Nito, and Jackson Folman. 2 crew members and 1 journalist also survived. The rescue was frantic and heroic. Defender Nerdo was found hours later, under the fuselage, clinging to life. Goalkeeper Folman would lose his leg, but keep his life. For the 71 others, including the coaching staff and most of the team, the journey ended there. The news broke at dawn, shattering hearts across Brazil and the world. The days following November 28th saw an outpouring of love rarely seen in history. In Chapecoense, the rain masked the tears of a city that had lost its heroes. The stadium, Arena Conda, became a site of pilgrimage. But the solidarity extended far beyond Brazil. In Medellin, on the night the final was supposed to be played, the stadium was full, not for a match but for a funeral. Atlético Nacional fans, dressed in white, held candles and sang for Chapecoense. They petitioned the governing body of South American football to award the championship title to Chapecoense, a trophy they'd never got to play for, but one they deserved for eternity. Força Chape became a global chant. Clubs from Europe to Asia held moments of silence. Rivalries were forgotten. Humanity took the field. Years have passed since that dark night. The pain remains, but so does the resilience. Chapecoense had to rebuild an entire team from scratch. The survivors, Folman, Ruschel, and Nito, became symbols of strength. Alan Ruschel even returned to play professional football, a true miracle of the sport. Jackson Folman became an ambassador for the club. The tragedy of LaMia Flight 2933 serves as a grim reminder of the cost of negligence and greed. But the response to it showed us the power of empathy. The 71 victims are not just names on a list, they are the eternal champions. Their star was added to the club's crest, ensuring that every time Chapecoense takes the field, those who were lost are playing right there with them. If this story moved you, please subscribe to the channel for more documentaries. Hit the like button to help us keep these memories alive, and share this video to honor the eternal champions. Until next time.